Hey guys, it's Jill with Parse and Parcel. I'm here in the sample studio today, and I thought I would give you a closer look at the recent relaunch of Neenah Paper's classic brands. So earlier this spring, Neenah decided to update their classic lineup of papers: Classic Crest, Classic Laid, Classic Linen, Classic Columns. Those are the traditional ones. Their flagship being Crest, of course. And with that, they have streamlined the Swatch book offering a bit. So now there are 3 books. We have Classic Textures, which I'll explain in a minute, Classic Crest, and Classic Linen. So these are the 3 complete books that have the entire classic lineup in them. So let's talk about the changes. So first off, they've added a bunch of new colors across the entire classic lineup. I believe there's 8 new colors, in fact. So you've got Bare White, which is where is it? Bare White. Love this shade. So it's a nice, neutral, balanced white shade. Kind of is a good bridge between Avon Brilliant White and the Classic Natural White. For those of you that are looking for that softer white but don't want it too creamy, I think this is going to be such a great fit. I've already worked on probably about 5 jobs where they've specified the Bare White. So if you aren't familiar with that one, that's definitely a sheet you want to get some samples of and look at. It's really, really nice. Also new are Cool Gray, Cadet Gray, Chambray, which is a nice, just a twist on the denim blue. You've got Aubergine, which is a deep eggplant color, Military, Cobalt, which I love, that intense deep blue, and Imperial Red. So those are across the entire classic lineup. In the Classic Crest Swatch book, which some of you may remember, they've included some previous textures. They've since pulled stipple out of the Classic Crest book, and now Classic Stipple is its own grade, and that's in textures. So within the Classic Crest book, you will find the smooth finish, the super smooth finish, and the eggshell finish. So that is in the Classic Crest Swatch book. So I would tell you, if you haven't gotten the new one, you want to get it and upgrade. To me, this is the best part. I love the new textures. So this is a Classic Texture Swatch book. They have combined in this pretty much all of their tactile or textured grades. So you've got Classic Laid and Classic Columns are in here, but they've added, and Classic Stipple moved in here. So 3 finishes that you should be familiar with if you're familiar with Neenah's classic brands. But they've added 2 new finishes that I love, the Tech Weave and the Wood Grain. These are beautiful looking. I'm going to give you a little, on the left side is a little preview. The left side are some print samples that come with the Swatch book. This is a Classic Digital, so this is actually the stipple finish. I don't know if you can see the stipple on here. Sort of see it. And that's available digitally, so that's really cool if you're looking to impart some texture into small runs. But this is the new Tech Weave finish. Can you see that? It's really, really nice and tactile. Here you've got a blind emboss on the Classic Laid and the new Wood Grain. So I know Wood Grain's kind of been the thing. It's an embossed finish. It looks really great with the copper foil. It mimics that wood texture, so that's a nice way to impart some tactility into some pieces if you're looking for paper to do that as opposed to an offline process. But let me show you the print sample, because this to me was the thing that got me. So this was produced in extremely limited quantities, so before you ask, like literally when I sat through the launch, I had to share my copy with someone. So they are not releasing this widespread. I would tell you, if you know a Neenah rep, reach out to them and ask them if they can get you one, because it is absolutely stunning. All of the pieces were designed by the team at Design Army, kind of a collaboration between Neenah and Design Army. So the cover is featuring that Bare White on the Tech Weave. Looks really nice. And then inside the piece, you've got the first major spread is kind of like an array of whites, so you can really see the difference. And in fact, I have an Instagram story going right now where you think you know whites, make sure you do, because whites have a really tricky way of imparting a feel to your print in photography and design that maybe you didn't intend, but they can also really enhance it as well. The secret is knowing which ones to use with the photography that you're using and your design. So this first sheet is Solar White. Bright white, tried and true. It's kind of like the flagship white in the brand. This next spread shows off the Avalanche White, which is really nice. It's a good bridge if you're doing monochrome on a white finish, neutrals. I think it really balances it out nicely. This is the Bare White. So you can see heavy coverage and that flesh tone. It's got just a little bit of warmth to the sheet, so it really works well with the flesh tone images. It doesn't overwhelm it, giving it too much of a yellow cast. I think it is very subtle, but absolutely beautiful. Recycled Bright White. You can really see the cool blueness, the undertone that the recycled sheet has. So again, that's something to keep in mind. If you're doing a project where you are featuring people, maybe it's an annual report, you might want to stay away from a blue-white looking sheet, as it may not give their complexions the best look. But for something that's a little more minimal and aesthetic, I think it really imparts a nice depth to the design. Classic Natural White, and you can see this is definitely a little more warm or creamy feeling than the Bare White was. And okay, and this is solid coverage on Avon Brilliant White. Really, really nice. This part is awesome. So here's a waterfall. You're going to see all the different finishes with a lot of ink coverage on it. Maybe some not so much. Again, this is you can't see it, the tack weave, but it's very subtle, beautiful. This is the classic wood grain, and I love the way they've paired this with this particular design and artwork. So it just adds a nice natural element to the piece. In this case, it's strengthening the brand. If you are working with a furniture company, a retailer, maybe somebody that is a sustainability client, I think it's a really nice way to sort of subtly reinforce that. This is classic stipple, and honestly, it lends a dimensionality to the final print result, but you really don't notice it. It's super subtle. Unless you touch the piece, you are not going to see it, but it just looks gorgeous. Here's Classic Columns. Again, a nice lineal pattern. We've got Classic Laid, and I think laid gets underused a lot. It can be absolutely beautiful. In this case, it's enhancing the tactileness of the rug that's featured here. So again, another way to reinforce the brand message. This spread I think is gorgeous. Now I'll be honest, I'm so not a fan of linen, but I think when used properly, this is the classic linen in the pearl finish. So you've got the gold from the silverware just really sort of shimmering off the page because of that the pearlescent finish to the paper. It's absolutely beautiful. Also available digital, by the way, so I think that's really cool to note. Eggshell, which I think is just a nice way to impart a little bit of tactility if you don't want that really smooth or super smooth feeling. Just lends a very subtle warmth to your piece, maybe making the client hold it a little bit longer because it just feels really good in their hand. And then again, the smooth. The piece is so well produced. Just a ton of different things, and these are the new colors. So Design Army, when they started with this, it was really kind of like, whoa, what are we going to do? They decided to take a look at the colors in the existing classic lineup that really worked well. What were the ones that worked the hardest, that had staying power, that weren't real trendy, and keep those. And then how to sort of leverage the brand equity of classic by adding new colors to it that will also stand the test of time. They are classics in their own rights and worthy of kind of joining the lineup. So that's where this new color palette comes in, which I think that they just look so good. This cool gray is just a nice, I think it's a nice shade and a good transition between their pewter and then the antique gray. Cadet gray has a little bit more of a richness to it. Again, that blind emboss looks great on it. Very subtle. This is the chambray. Looks so nice. Right, the foil stamp, and this is in the linen. Again, nice texture to it. We're seeing a lot going on in the blues, but I have to say this by far is my favorite color, and I don't know if it's showing up on here so well, but that cobalt. While we are seeing it on trend currently, I think it's one color that is definitely going to stand the test of time and be around. You're noticing it a lot more. It's super vivid, and I think that it offers a way to differentiate, especially from so many of those reflex-looking corporate blues out there. I think this is a beautiful way to sort of reinvent that or update a brand. The aubergine, really nice. The military, just a warm, rich, natural-looking green. Not sure if it's showing up so well on the video, but it really does look nice live and in person. And then peeking through that is the bare white. And you can really see that it is just a beautiful balanced white. I mean, it looks so good. I love this color. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with it. So, and then it goes into some things you can do with the sheets on digital. So again, tech weave available in digital offering. That's pretty big, you guys. Now, keep in mind that all of these papers probably aren't gonna all be stocked locally, but Neenah does make them available through their website. So you can order quantities of those if you can't get them there. Certainly if you run into, you know, some issue trying to source them locally, you can reach out to us. I'm happy to try and troubleshoot. I've got connections all over the country, so I can tell you who's got what in your market, or at least try to help you with that. The wood grain is also available digitally. And of course, smooth. And they get into some envelopes. Really, this piece is so well done. It's kind of crazy. And what I found super interesting regarding the colors is that Design Army, they actually created these new colors by hand. They mixed paint colors in the office. That was really kind of cool, and I loved it because it felt very analog when I was watching the video about it. So once they had those 8 colors down, they wanted to. They knew that they had to take that and then make it work technically for the paper. So there was a lot of testing and trials, and really it ended up in a nice partnership with Neenah, a good collaboration where they could tweak things, and it totally paid off. I mean, the detail in these colors, so spot on. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's kind of a peek at the new rebrand from Neenah of the classic papers. If you don't have the Swatch books, we do have these available in the sample studio. You can order them through the Swatch book tab on our website. The print promotion is not, but I would tell you I think these are definitely ones that you want to have updated in your arsenal. Classic Crest is such a staple among the design community that it makes sense to have it. And the last thing you want to do is be frustrated because maybe there was a sheet that is no longer available, so make sure you update your resources. Any questions? You can drop them in the comments, or feel free to hit me up either on Facebook or Instagram, or drop me an email, hello@parsonparcel.com. Thanks for tuning in.